This is the Team Heretics we know and love. They take map 1 against BBL. I'm Yingsun, I'm back here with Billy. And welcome back, Hakuka.
Yes.
Tom did make a joke about how you were looking better this week when he was there. And I disproved it. I told him that, you know, I had your back. I had your back.
Thank you.
Just like Boo had his team's back.
Yes,
you like that?
Exactly. I really like that, because that first half, we thought that it was all about BBL, that they were going to have maybe another second half, another defense that was flawless, just like against Giant X, but this was not the occasion. It was actually Boo's redemption. It took him until like round number 9 to get his first kill. It wasn't even an impact kill because it was like on a Nico getting a last minute frag, but it was actually thanks to him and regaining his confidence by the end of that half that I think we got to see Heretics win this.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the stuff that Boo was doing on the defense though was still helpful towards his team. You know, running that KO, running that Teho. You just seen it in the clip there. They were able to use that fragment nades, the Teho utility as well, to kind of delay any sort of plants that BBL were putting down, and it was causing time to run down on the clock too.
Exactly. On the attack, we saw the micro, as you were mentioning, like comboing the rest of the utility. We still have that question of, are we compelled? Are we sure that we like a Wood playing on the smokes? Well, his individual performance was off the charts, and even though Wood took a few rounds to warm up, the result was definitely there on the second half.
Yeah, and Tom was mentioning the mental fortitude of this team in the pre-show, that, you know, they made a final so many times. This is not the team that you can just take down that easy. And I felt like we saw a lot of that, Billy, from the way that they came back into this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that with Heretics, the vibes are always up, of course, and I think that there was so many rounds that you didn't really know which side it was going to go in favor of, right? But I think round 23 in particular was really impressive. Again, another round I didn't know which way it was going to go. But yeah, no, I think that also plays a part in how aggressive BBL were in their approach.
And I really like this idea from Heretics. They know that BBL are in a very difficult position because of the first half that they had and how they're not solvent. And even though this Vice ult was great, Heretics takes that moment at the beginning of the round to wait for them to make the first tech, to make the first mistake, and then punish it. A very good mid-run call that ends up in a round that, just because of the ults that they had, should have been BBL's.
Is it fair to say then, Kakuka, that maybe BBL had it coming at some point? Someone was somewhere at some time was going to punish this style, right? Eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I really like how confident they play. I think that the new players that they've had are having a lot of impact, but I do agree that also Team Heretics is a team that rides a lot on momentum. Like when things start to go well, when we start seeing Benji and Wood having these rounds where it's just like them two against the world, it is very difficult to react to that and be on top of that, because this is the Heretics that everybody's scared about.
Yeah, it feels like besides a grand final, when they're like this, it always close out. They always close out. You cannot doubt them. But let's talk about the next map very quickly. And also on the side of BBL, Vax Vice, which we have some official stats here. You know, it's only been 17 days since he unlocked this agent, and he looks great on it. Honestly, for a stand-in performance, for the fact that he's never played this character before, you can't really fault him.
On the second half, we know that everything was a little bit falling apart for BBL, but on the first one, the way that he was lurking, the way that he was pushing, it's definitely something to keep in mind, because as you're saying, he's not performing as a stand-in anymore. And now, moving on to Lotus, let's see if he keeps on playing with that Cypher. I do not want to see like Heretics abusing the fact that he's alone on C, but my man's gonna
I do. I want to see that.
Okay.
I think Vac for me was really impressive in the sense that he was able to take those timings on the attack, like, and that allowed BBL to have so much space as well. Like they were not letting Team Heretics in on the retake whatsoever. So yeah, I think he did a great job and was doing what would be expected of him.
Yeah, now on to my second favorite topic to talk about in the world, which is Viper on Lotus. You heard it from me so many times last year.
Yeah.
Why are teams not playing Viper on Lotus? The win rate into Viper comps was crazy low. However, coming into this year, GX are the only team that stuck with this Viper. No one else is doing it anymore. The last time we saw Heretics on Lotus, they also really prioritize the Viper. Do you think that that's the way it's going to go today, given the context of what everyone else is doing?
I think it depends, right? We need to think again about that role swap, and maybe them playing the Tejo is something that they might consider in this map. I see your point, and I see why they would see the value, but I would also see them invest in that time into creating some new composition and probably learning from some of the teams that have been playing the map.
Yeah, I think for me, I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen Tejo played on this map pick. I think that we've seen a lot of teams run Tejo so far. And again, that would mean that Boo gets to jump back onto that controller where we've seen him shine.
Well, you would think that's what we're going to see. And looking at the map here,
well,
I mean,
there's no Viper.
There is no Viper. I mean, I'm really sad. But what do we make of double controller, Boo and V?
I mean, I like it, right? Like, you still have that initiating power. I think that Boo is going to feel very, very comfortable playing on the Omen. Wood on map 1 was unreal. And I want to see what Team Heretics is bringing, because even though they played a lot this map throughout last year, it was always something like the third map or another team picks it onto this. So if this year they have decided to pick on this map, I want to see what they have prepared.
Yeah, I think switching up that Viper for the Astra is really, really nice. We've seen the team have a lot of value, and as you say, Voot was performing very well on it. Rienz as well, I imagine he's going to be very much in Mini Boo's back pocket and being able to help set him up on that raise. But over on BBL side as well, they've gone for the similar kind of composition with the Yampi being able to set up Levin with Sociable as well. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see how these two pairings match up.
I am very, very intrigued, because if Team Heretics take this, it will be a clean 2-0 and they will advance into the top 3. Mitch and Tom, nobody saw that coming, right? Surely.
I gotta say, Tom, I didn't see it coming after such a big lead for BBL. But
I was gonna say, clean for the VLR analysts who only look at whether it says 1-0.
Oh, 2-0.
2-0, clean. It's like, yeah, a little bit clean, a little bit. If they get a 2-0, maybe. We'll see how they do on their own map.
I know it being clean, but it was squeaky when it came to that first map. 13-11. Lotus, I don't know what to expect from, because for BBL, for any team, it is going to be difficult to bounce back after the loss that they just suffered. It is an emotional reset. I don't doubt you come into this map thinking we can win this. Hell, it was 13-11. That's how it goes after a couple rounds. Early aggression, BBL walk it down a long. Heretics about to have contact. It's moved all the way. 2 players right in front of him, and he almost got both.
He's a rat, but can he get anything done? With a sheriff from there, it can be difficult. The rest of the team, the thing is, he's kind of bought them time. Just by being in that position, spotting that many players, they can get into the afterplan, and the attackers, it looks like they still want to be proactive. Miniboo taking contact.
They're expecting that play to come in this way, where the players were spotted in the spawn. So 2 of the Heretics players go towards Mound. They clear this out. Now they see no one. The nade slows them down long enough. The Heretics can now set up. They realize no one's coming behind. They've all rotated. There's the at least Fade alongside Cypher spotted. I think they know Omen's there as well. That's all the information. Now, all that's left to do is find the kills. Huge damage done on the wall banks. And now, trouble, because that spike being defused will have plenty bullets flying at it. I don't think they got it half. The fights need to be won by BBL here and now. And the time is already too far gone. Woot! The one to find the last kill, the one to put 1-0 on the board for Heretics.
Yeah, he's been having a great time. Like we talked about in the pre-show, having the lack of lineups as a reason he wanted to sort of switch up the roles. To be honest, like, firstly, anything Neil says, I don't trust him. Like,
the man is a liar.
He is going to try and bait you. But that one maybe, I don't know if I believe it. I feel like for a pro player, that's kind of nuts to admit, but at the same time, I also think there's just comfort in putting him in a position where it's like, he can be an anchor with his utility, he can set up with his utility, but he can also just frag out on his utility. And that seems to be what Woot is doing. Leaving that man alone in the late round to almost play off of, I don't know. I think that's just as dangerous as anything else. For BBL, okay, they managed to get an orb in a round where you have a single sheriff to play with. Collecting the orbs is not a bad thing whatsoever. I'll be very impressed if they get this second one, but I think it's much more likely they're just going to try and do a little bit of damage here.
Well, that's it. And even 2 kills will be enough to put a dent in the economy. We've seen shields purchased across the board. We've seen only 1 player on Heretics have a light weapon. Guardians and Bulldogs filling out the roster, with Miniboo having a Vandal. Now, damage on the Sociable is good. This is Benji's classic. He's almost just a turret at this point as well. Sure, he can get a kill, but he's just trying to keep this information, and if he goes down, at least they have info to trade out. It's the site itself. So many players alive, some utility still to play with. This could get dangerous. Already, BBL are forcing that early utility out. Post-plant from Heretics being burned up. Now it comes into blind spams, and that's somewhere that they excel. Wow. Yeah, there were dangers there. None of them come through. And so Heretics, with an in-zone flawless, are 2-0 in the lead. And also, Tom, by the way, an in-zone flawless where they came in with 4 rifles. Yeah. That's a huge economic boost.
But that's the big thing, is we go back to their second round in the last map where, okay, they went for a Marshall, some SMG. That's not happening this time. They're on the attack. They're going to come into this next round with 4 rifles. There's a very real chance that they manage to turn this round into a victory. So we now have to focus more on BBL. And in classic form, we're seeing this Raze combination alongside the C's, just to basically stop anybody going in that direction early. Instead, though, look at the pace of Heretics. They're going into C already.
Yeah, there's no time to wait for this roster. Quite an aggressive stance. Perhaps we'll find value. Vac, a danger man up close, hiding inside the smoke. Yumpy, the real danger man, he just swung wide. That prompts Vac to do the same, claiming backside control and spotting another on the site, dealing damage too. Rien's also known to be there. They're starting to put this squad in a box, and you can guess that someone's around Mound. A smoke should be online for Prophet. Paranoia used. It doesn't catch them though. Still on the site, ready to fight as Rien's connecting the first. Benji steps in to help, and now suddenly the script is being flipped. That's a dangerous push from Prophet, just straight through the smoke. Nothing to be found by it. And Social, well, bar the one, but with time ticking and 2 players still alive, this should be an impossible clutch for Sociable. The Nano doesn't make it that much more difficult, but the player peeking on top of Mount certainly does. Well handled by Team Heretics. It felt like they really had it all put together.
Yeah, I think this is always the terrifying prospect with this team. The second they get into post-spawn, it's like they just flick a switch and it's like perfect synergy.
It was just perfect.
Like every single time there was a fight, there was a secondary player ready to swing off of it. So worst it was a trade, and it helped them get into the lead in terms of those picks. And this is the worry that was there already early on this attack side, 3-0 up, building that economy, as that was in essence a bonus round. And now you look at the opposing side. And I think the tougher thing on this map that you have to take into consideration is last map, you're up against a Yoru chamber combo.
Yeah.
It's obscure. It's stuff you have to adapt to, learn from, and that's exactly what Heretics did. This composition is not that. It's not anything too crazy out of the box. A lot of it's going to be Yumpy set up into other players. You've also got tape to watch back of this. Yep. I think catching Heretics off guard is going to be way more difficult. And this team, as said, has a lot of reps on this map. Sure, comps changed a bit, but in essence, still a lot of similar roles and comfort.
Comps changed, possibly improved for what they're looking to do as well. And I think, you know, this is very much it. Coming into this after Pearl, not just the first map going the way it did, but it being Pearl, it being BBL on Pearl. Now we move to Lotus. Heretics, it feels like there's 2 scenarios. One is that Heretics come in here and show that, yes, the last map was close, but it was because BBL are very good on Pearl, not because they're as good a team as Heretics. In that world, I see Heretics dominating this map. The other is that BBL actually have quite a fight. They really legitimize their name beyond what they've done so far. There's no questions of Bliss Fnatic on an off day and so on. They'd have to do it here, and already it's off to a poor start.
Something to note as well is the last time out, Vac played this exact same role. He had the solo Cypher on this side of the map. He did well to get a kill and get out versus GX.
Yes.
They are destroying him so far, and they are intentionally putting the pressure on him.
100%. This is a different team. This isn't GX. I think you could guess from the logo. Might be the same region, but that's about it. Nice damage. It's just pistols they're up against, and you can see how quickly they cut through like a hot knife through butter. Rienz picks up kills. Plenty of ultimates online for Heretics. Economy sky high. For BBL, time is running out. It may only be a 4-0 start, but we know what's behind door number 2. We need to see BBL right down that first.
I think one of the most exciting things compositionally with the change is Rienz going back over to an initiator. He was playing Viper last time. I think he's fine at Viper, but the second you put him on like a Fade, a Sova, anything of the sort, I just feel like his damage capabilities go up 1,000,000%. Pacing, though, may look to change again. Showstopper used immediately. Good luck, Yumpy, and good night.
Clean opener. Problem with these ultimates, high impact. Big opener plant secured on the back of it, and they even got a bit of control towards the broken door. I mean, at this point, it's again a couple seconds in, and BBL have to try to find a solution. Cosmic Divide comes in to make it a little bit more difficult. I love Sociable's attempt at spamming inside that smoke. It's sneaking through the Cosmic Divide. It nearly got him a kill. Miniboo is left on 6 HP, yet still he is alive, drawing breath on that site. Finally he falls, but the trades come in quickly. And 5-0, before you know it, the lead's extended even further for Team Heretics. The worst part about that, Tom, I don't think that round looked particularly close.
No.
There's a round where there's a world where if you ignore the sidebars, I might even think it's an eco from damage that they're able to deliver. Heretics make it look easy, and with a 5-0 lead and a map under their belt, that's the last thing you want to see as a BBL fan.
I think they know as well that that round is almost like a bit of a backbreaker.
Let's go!
Like you go, okay, we're coming up against what will be a solid buy. Ult starting to build. Rifle's going to be in their best spot here. Let's throw in 3 ults. That was it. They used 1 to get the opener, 2 in post-plan. Getting back in there is so difficult. Also, the first player they killed is Yumpy. And if you've watched any of BBL so far, he is the center point of this team. Whether or not he is the person finding all the kills or whatever, especially on this map, his stuns and his flashes put players into position. You kill him immediately, it becomes a lot more difficult.
That's exactly it. He'll be in a position of leading from the crow's nest. For Heretics, the 6th round is what they're seeking, but a much more slow and steady approach to it. A default to start. A minute on the clock, minute 10, they start moving back together. The unit is now grouped. The Odin, a beautiful touch. Really, chef's kiss on that one. It's going to try to deny some of the control that BBL have. Can't deny that side angle. Profek does beautifully to find that. I've been looking for a little bit more, but Profek, I mean, they know he's here. They know he's here. This swing won't catch anyone off guard. And Boo is quick to deliver. Re-ends in the same boat. That's a showstopper thrown through, Tom. It might give them a chance. It depends where this fight goes, if these weapons can be retrievable, and if Yumpy and Bat can group up. But it's kept it in a 2v2.
Done well from this point onwards, but can they convert it? As you said, a showstopper here. Oh, I think Wood's actually going to tank that. No, it missed just slightly. That means the damage wasn't anywhere near as much as maybe first thought to be. Both players looking to play on the edge of this smoke, and instead, it's those low-buy weapons that get them through. The gamble was worth it. The risk taken pays off. And after a very slow start to this map, BBL are finally on the board.
I saw that showstopper activated, and I was very worried that we were not going to see the pay save card Thrifty. That instead, this was going to be an ultimate, a valuable safety net for this team, thrown away. Even the kill onto Rienz, it doesn't guarantee there'll be any impact, and this round could still fade from the history books. Instead, it has given a heartbeat, at least, to BBL, a small sign on the sensors that they are still here to play. And bouncing back in a round like that means they've got 4 ultimates granted, none with the same impact of that showstopper. But it's a start. The foundations have been set for BBL. Well, this player here, the showstopper, landed a kill. That was his 2nd kill so far. Now with the op-out, looks to change the way this has been going, turn the tides in his favor. At least for now, they've denied C-Main control. But, well, it looks like this hit is going to come in elsewhere.
Let's see if this is the start of something for BBL. Last time out, they were 5-1 down versus GX, still won the map. They've shown they can do it. Plenty of delay. With Vax utility now relying on this site, ready for the push.
The patience is definitely there. Whether it gets a reward or not remains to be seen. Yuppie is pushed up in B main. It's an off angle. It's one that's not being checked right now. He's been spotted, but got the kill in time. Fades around the corner as well. That buys time for teammates to come swooping into the site. And Profek, would you believe it? He's got another 4K. That's BBL up to 2 and a lifeline delivered.
Building off of this was so important. As said, in their last game versus GX, they started slow on Lotus. Built back in, even lost the 2nd pistol and still managed to win out the map with a streak on the attack side. They can do it. Those ultimates, though, building up for either side. Nightfall would be good for the retake, and I'm looking at that lockdown on Benji. But I like the adaptation. They've now started to move back over to that A site. He was, as said, struggling with the hold on C. Wow, speaking of C, Yumpy has already he's just walked up. He's just taken that control. They're going to have a lot of information early. There is nobody on A or B because of the positions they've taken on the map.
Sociable. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm seeing what I like. But nothing's landing, and now he's in a lot of danger. That door is open. Uses the ult to try to force them back, stop them from pushing. Rienz goes down. I think that was a spam through the smoke from back that finds its mark.
What?
What was that? Yumpy does the exact same, albeit in a bit more ridiculous of a manner. That forces the lockdown, which has detained at least one, slowing the return of BBL. But the numbers still sit in their favor, and someone has to be the one to seek those kills. Sitting on the site, waiting. Surely is a death sentence. The nade, it corrals them all to the back site. BBL able to group and get a foothold on the site, but there is a gap, and Wood exploits that perfectly. Backside control, maintained, and the spike ticks further and further away. BBL, the ones with pressure on their shoulders. An attempt to draw them into that smoke as the defuse is tapped, but Benji Fishy wins his duel up top. They're holding control for a moment with Boo left to run this clock down just a little bit further, and he might have done it. He just survives as long as he can. And Profek, he's got it, hasn't he? He's got a little window, 1.5 seconds, just enough. Boo, try as he might, he couldn't buy enough time.
That's one of those rounds that, again, when you have all of the information there for BBL, it definitely helped that early aggression on both sides of the map. I think also just the factor of Yumpy's panic attempt. This was just an attempt, by the way, to destroy the lockdown. That was his only goal. He was trying to break it with an aftershock and spam a few bullets to make sure it got destroyed. While spamming, a bullet comes through the smoke, and he goes, there, and just kills him. And this is also a round, again, where you have to put the highlight onto Profek. Incredible stuff. Once more, this same aggression. Deep control from Yumpy, deep control from Levin. But this time, it has to be given up. And why? It does seem like Heretics themselves are starting to put pressure across the map so those gambles can't come in again.
This is a big work being done by this defensive side. Not letting Heretics run away with it just yet. Narrow margins, but just about coming on top. Profek, big play in the last. He's at a 4-piece as well. Levin surely backs off. Oh, they've crossed. They're right past him. He's sticking around, looking for the duel. I mean, it's not like he's a chamber. He can't just bail out of here. No gate crash to remove him from this situation. If they swing that corner, Levin's in a lot of trouble. At least you'd imagine so.
Oh, he's heard the door breaking. He's got to choose to stand and fight, or, well, stand and fight. He's lost the battle to Benji. But even still, the door being opened has managed to get a kill for Yumpy. They're turning this back already, just as the plant goes down.
Cosmic Divide blocks out B main, though. This is a big problem. Even Vac has to now wonder, has Boo fallen back to his teammates? Are they just waiting? Sociable up in heaven. This is a wide net being cast by BBL. Inside of that net, a little bit thin, though, and it's being sliced apart. Team Heretics, they have quickly dealt with that retake. Boom, making it look easy in the door room. 6-3 now. Far from over.
Yeah, it does feel like when there's ultimates available in the post-box, they're just very, very comfortable. Like the way they're able to section off specific angles, isolate some of those fights, and definitely looking a little bit more disjointed. I think it was both Yumpy and Profek coming from the same angle, but just a few seconds apart, and that's enough to just give easy 1v1 fights to the side of Heretics, and that's really not something that you want to be doing. You mentioned Boo as well, and it is just a factor. If you put this man back on controller, and he just looks more comfortable. Like, you're already talking about 10 assists, sure, some of those are going to be people running through his smokes, as we saw in the last round, but I just feel like this sort of balance, where even having Woot as a second controller is absolutely fine, because even if you don't have Miniboo just popping off the scales, they are comfortably in the lead. And while that response, just look at the damage it's done. You can see it on the scoreboard at the moment. That was 3 in a row for the defensive side, and they may only have a single rifle coming into this round.
Yeah, it's how close so many of these battles have been. It's been left down to individuals. Pick up pieces, bar that one round where Prophet got a 4-piece, but even then, I think there was like 3 players left alive. So it's been costly. It's run down the economy. 3 rounds left to go in this half, and for Team Heretics, well, it's certainly been working out. There's been a bump in the road, but one they have quickly fine-tuned to. And the attack side now sets up for a more direct early round. We've seen them play default. We've seen them wait for BBL's aggression. It seems like this time they want to write the script early. And indeed, with the complete abandon of the A site by Benji, you have to think this will be a much more direct round. C is under threat. Yumpy's here. Vac is here. But they may be forced into a retake fairly soon.
They got Nightfall as well. I wouldn't mind seeing it committed, but instead,
I thought it was on the way, yeah.
just going to take that control. A little bit of an extra delay, so they had the information. Yumpy's done well, though. That spike on the deck, but with players so desperately low from the Nightfall, it almost becomes an easy cleanup. Spike's still yet to be retrieved, but I think they want at least some safer space before they do too much more.
I think that's just an excellent read that in this round, BBL would not be playing on site for fear of the Nightfall, so they take site, confirm they're not there, and then it's a deeper Nightfall, capitalized on with the nade. This is mitigating a lot of the dangers, my goodness. Woot, 6 HP, and Boo, well, he was looking like he was gonna be in the same boat. This is risky. They've given a gap, and Levin almost blew it wide open. Now it's 2 players. I said Boo was on his way. Well, he's just 1 HP above Woot now. Hope is that Benji's going to be able to put in some work, because if he doesn't, well, I don't know that the other 2 are going to be all too happy to take those fights. Well, Boo clearly is. 7 on the board for Team Heretics. This was a round that they should have had very little resistance, especially after the initial site take, though. BBL did a wonderful job to still make that costly.
I think it's the gamble. That's the thing. They all in on this C site hold, and even though the Nightfall is there, you're going to be low on HP. It doesn't matter. If you have a crossfire of enough players, you can still trade out a lot of those kills. So it's extra damage. Ultimately, you're still 7-3 down. Similarly to the last map, but in the other direction. Can Heretics now turn this into a truly monumental lead? As a couple of ultimates now start to get close for that defensive side. I'm looking at the Rolling Thunder, I'm looking at the Showstopper. It could easily be in play this round.
Yeah, with the round, well, the map that's in it, it will be hard for the defenders to push forward and claim those orbs, but a kill. And then a retake looks a whole lot more doable. Yumpy is here. Stun goes in, but it won't deter them. Space already taken, but there it is, the kill for Yumpy. The Rolling Thunder online. The risk outside of C, though, was massive, and they used the Rolling Thunder, and it hasn't come. Boo! Boo took his ult out! What's going on? What is happening? He gets caught with the ult. This round is pure madness. A Showstopper available thanks to the kill from Levin. And now the C site that they were on their way towards, it's not going to be quite as safe as you might have thought. He's toying with the idea. It's coming. Showstopper used, fired, but he's deleted right after. Sociable 1v1 that ends up winning. That was one of the most chaotic rounds I've seen in quite a while.
It's one that I think, if you're Rians, you're probably laughing. If you're anybody else, you might just want to forget what happened. This early fight, I think it was just a singular trip that gave all the information that was necessary. Rians does incredibly well. This is nightmare fuel. Gets away with the first, goes, okay, I'm gonna leave now, I'm gonna leave, and then gets caught by a second player swinging the exact same angle. And then the Showstopper, wow. Benji is maybe a little bit lucky to even get away with that kill. Even still, for Heretics, they're gonna look up at the scoreboard and they're not gonna care. 8-3 up, finances further in the lead. Both Dogs ultimates did come online, which both of them were used. They still didn't win. And Woot has just been domed. He got hit down to 30 through the corner of the wall with a Guardian.
That's the benefit of buying the wall bang weapons. You can't afford Node and get the Guardian. It's some players that say it's all right. Scream thinks it's good. Back, nice shot. He's got another player on the left he doesn't know about. There he is though. Okay, it turns out to be a bit of a bait. Showstopper fired in by Miniboo. He is going to find it tough to find a kill. Levin's behind them.
You should run.
Levin's walking up. They seem aware of it. The timing, though, is key. He's got the shot. Nade fired in as well, just in time. Woot needs to move. He's low, so there's no one that can deny that lockdown being broken. And with the nade taking Woot and Levin onto Miniboo. This round from a surefire victory. The pressure sits on Boo. He knows where both of these players are, but will not be able to take them down. 4 on the board for BBL. It's 3 in a row and 1 at the end. It might just be enough.
It's still going to have to be a serious resurgence going into that attack in half. It definitely still sees some of the flair, some of the individual brilliance, Mitch, but we'll have to wait and see what they've got.
Well, it's sink or swim for BBL, the lower bracket gesturing to them. And while many people thought they would have been there already, Tom, but an impressive performance up against some fantastic teams, Fnatic being the last, has kept them in it. For now, though, they've lost Pearl, their home turf now, 8-4 down on Lotus. The way back, it seems cloudy. There's fog ahead and the path unclear, but Tom, it's not over just yet. And if they win this pistol, BBL may stand a chance.
Wow, you know, Fnatic probably thought that they'd beaten them already.
They probably did.
Went into an attack side half, got boomed. So I have to wait and see. Already early control taken. A very passive hold. Now both controller players sit within this A site. An abundance of utility.
Cover going out.
With the potential to delay. Paranoia is going to be the main piece to hold them back, but BBL ain't stopping.
No, blinded up. Profek finally pumps the brakes, but waiting for his teammates. Wood at least finding a first, emerging from that smoke seems to be a death sentence, and so no one else will try till the flash pops. Smoke fades, but there's another there blocking the way. And for BBL, sure, boots are on the ground. They've claimed control of the site, but there's too many opponents to risk a plant. They have to brave the push. Great reveal. Huge, in fact. The wall bang from Sociable and back. The shot clean from Yumpy. And a 3v2 as a result. That reveal has just turned the tide.
It seems like this is a map of fades. They've already killed one on the opposition. A bit of an awkward fight, but Sociable still gets the job done. And now it's left on to Miniboo. First comes easy. The rest is going to be up to if anybody gives him a fight, and they do, but both at the same time. Solid double peek from the side of BBL, and that lifeline has been grasped with both hands.
Oh, yeah. Well needed, a much needed delivery from the side of BBL. And it seemed like it was slipping apart. The fact that this team just waits. Heretics take back sight, pump brakes, and hold for that push. But that reveal right there, it changes everything, making it an easy connection for every single player on that site. They all put in the work.
Boys.
They reap the benefit together.
Let's go!
And Yumpy is clearly excited about that. Nice shot by Rienz.
Well, that was a combo. That was the Marshall hit at the exact same time. Sociable doesn't give a damn. He's already managed to clear out two in response. And that's the thing, that this is where I'm most excited with BBL. You give Yumpy, the helm of the attack side, a chance to call for the team, but also with the breach, a much better chance to actually set up some of those superstars that we have well, been learning about over the last couple of weeks. Slowing the pace down, though. They still have a few rifles, still have a fair amount to lose. With Miniboo's Marshall over on that A site, they do have to be a little bit careful. We've already seen him take heads off just last map.
While the group from BBL and slow shift to the other side, not looking to just push into those angles where no doubt there's going to be players sitting and waiting. With 40 seconds on the clock, well, they have the choice of any position on the map. Still traps covering the A and C push-ups. The logical conclusion is B. The thing is, that's the quickest rotation for Heretics. They'll be here watching the cross. Two players, sure, smoked off, but ready to emerge from it. A third up top. This could overwhelm the players on the site. Sociable does well, landing another, but it's a 2v2. 18 seconds left. The spike needs to be planted. A smoke, though, gives them that safe spot to plant. The nade close. It will deny it. A second attempt at the plant. This time, a little more out in the open, but it lands. Finally connected. Miniboo needs both shots. Both players are low, though. Needs to reload first. 2 bullets. That's all he puts in. He'll have to land both. As the timer ticks away, they start to think about him repositioning, but round the corner he comes anyways. A firing squad. He spotted that. Although they've separated, they've given him a chance. He's just bullet by bullet reloading, looking for any opportunity. But nothing is granted. A swift death is all he gets. 8-6.
Yeah, and a decent amount of damage, though. I think that's how Heretics can look at that from a position where they're a player down. They have a Marshall and a couple of pistols. That's really not bad whatsoever. Miniboo as well has already started building up some economy back towards that showstopper.
10 seconds left. One.
And this is now we've kind of look at what's going to be the investment here. Because it does seem like, at least for BBL, the majority of players are going to be left on a rifle. Sociable was bought into a Ghost alongside full shields. It seems like the goal here is to get him on that Nightfall and potentially utilize that to get into the C side. We'll have to wait and see.
Slow and steady wins the race, clearly. That spike's on its way back. If they do go towards A, there's a lot of danger waiting for them. I was going to start circling the map. Our observers are ahead of me. Boo. Already in position up top. You can see him on rubble and the point to contact Miniboo. He sees them. Paranoia's thrown out. Big swing. Round might just be over before it gets started, but they've seen Boo up top. Now the element of surprise. Well, it disappears. Nade goes deep. That will do great damage, actually. Miniboo down to 37, though, after that initial fight. They back off. Heretics give up the control on A and gamble a little bit more towards the B side.
Yeah, this is where the Nightfall comes in, but it's been dodged. Cage will be there to try and deny, re-ents the space, but he's already managed to highlight 2 players. We talked about those haunts on the other side. This time, it's re-ents. Well, I say this time, it has been throughout this map. An incredible performance. Spike on the deck. Sociable. It's going to be spotted. No chance for any sneaky behavior, and in fact, there's only 15 seconds left now on the clock for Prophet. Holding onto the gun may not even serve with much value unless he can find himself an upgrade.
Just plant and die.
I think it may just be the latter.
Yeah, I think it was either that or attempt the plant, and you know they're going to come rushing in to kill you. No point just carrying it forward. 9-6.
Let's look at Rian's 19-9. Like, this is the thing. He avoids obviously the ultimate, the Nightfall, but he throws in the Haunt and then just pops 2 heads. Like, it's just one of those things where when he is in form, also personal thing when he's playing that Initiator, he just looks like maybe even the best player in the world. Like, it's so hard to play against him, setting himself up for this defense. Well, it's the classic. They're going to deny that early A control. A lot of stars put in place alongside it. The benefit of the Astra is you can actually hold players back from pushing. The attack, though, again, have more of a focus on early B presence. Not necessarily taking it, but just making sure that the defenders don't have that information.
The defenders at this point, they don't have any information of their own. A Prowler is thrown out on B to confirm they're not just sitting outside there on the attack side, ready to burst through the floodgates of that site. with A being spotted. It's not the best control in the world, but it's at least the jump spot confirms that probably no one has crossed. Tiny window they could get across.
And after last round, he's just putting deep smokes to sell the idea that there is still someone there.
Exactly. They want them to think there's A control. Heretics want them to maybe walk towards B, but they've already been punished there. What they really want is BBL to have no info and play late gamble into the C site, into the stack up.
30 seconds left.
Showstopper ready to go. Benji lands the first, and while the Showstopper actually gets absolutely nothing. Now they have to walk back into the hands of Riens. And Boo, who's now rotated into position. There is 13 seconds. I don't know if they go for this. You're running into a site blind through a smoke. It's just not worth it for BBL. And that round ended before it even began. A perfect idea sold by the side of Heretics. And then BBL walks straight into the stack.
It's just pixel perfect Valorant. Really great ideas around map control, utility denial, the Prowler late on B, confirming that they can commit to this stack, that Showstopper can be ready. Wasn't even needed.
No, Benji was too quick.
The only contribution that had to the round was them in comms going, Showstopper. Other than that, there was nothing to worry about because the round was done and dusted. 10-6, 4 rounds between them. And the defensive side of Heretics is looking very difficult to figure out. And so now you think, let's go back to A. They were stacked C. A side should be a little easier to take. What are they doing? One guy pushing up? No, it's 4 players pushing up. It's flashes, it's paranoias, it's everything. And nothing for BBL. 5 players went towards A main. 4 players walk away.
That's the thing. They've attempted that trap a couple of times. Again, utilizing that Astra utility, dragging players into awkward fights, stunning them as they try and make their way through. Last round, there was no contact. Okay, we got that space for free. Now, let's do it again. Wait and see if they try and take that control. And losing A control, it just makes it so hard to play because now look at the defense.
Same positions.
Exactly the same.
It's picture perfect. This time there's no showstopper. As we said last time, it wasn't needed. Woot goes down. Spam is good. Spam is dealing big damage, but Mini Boo, he is crushed into the other smoke and from the shadows. He is dealing death to his opponents. BBL being swept away for the wave of Heretics win after win. 5 rounds now. And Tommy said there were 2 realities. Either BBL bounce back emotionally, they come in and they show we are a team that can fight you on any map. Or we realize that Heretics are just those guys. And it seems like we might be in that boat. Lotus, definitely a comfort ground for them. Not so much for BBL.
I think as well, like we're seeing solid individual performances from players like Riens, but I also think especially this defensive side calling from Boo has literally been perfect. Every single setup or idea that they've had over the last 3 rounds has just been squeaky clean. I'd say even the pistol round strat that they had was spot on in terms of delay. The openers, it was just ruined by a singular horn.
He's got the whiteboard out, mate. That's where we're at. I said earlier, Pal seems a lot more calm than the previous ones. Now he's waving about books, flicking through pages.
Drawing?
Yeah, drawing the whole map out.
Things are going bad. Mona Lisa.
Look, the reality is, though, for BBL, they've been a team that have been underestimated every step of the way. This is not a team that pressure gets to. Sure, the community is starting to drum up support behind them, but you see them lose to Heretics, no one's going to go, guys, come on. Rework the roster at this point.
Unlike last year.
Unlike last year, different story. But the scoreline's still not damning. They've had a moment to speak to their coaching staff. But again, this isn't one guy's popping off or one play is working or one part of the map they just can't get control of. No, this is Heretics calling a perfect game, being 2 steps ahead every step of the way. For BBL,
cover going out.
Let's see what they have come up with.
3 players with a paranoia setup.
It's the first time we've seen this.
Oh, paranoia in, easy kill. It literally, so far, has been spot on. They have read them every step of the way. It literally, it sounds like Boo is in their comms.
Genuinely, we need to look into that. The fact that that's the first time we see a B push-up. And again, it's like, okay, they call a pause. What's not been working? They can't get A main control, we push them back. They can't get C site, there's always 3 of us there. They probably think there's 3 people playing that side of the map because our rotations are so good. Where are they going to go? Might be B.
They went B once with an ult. Riens killed them all. They're going to think, okay, he won't do that again. This time there's a full setup waiting for them.
Honestly, outlandish. From BBL's perspective, it must feel like just banging your head against a brick wall. chasing windmills in the Hurricane.
The thing is, so Rians has already fallen back. He has Nightfall. That's why he's solo on the A site this time. They are happy with his ability to slow them down. With the early failure on B, they're going to try and leave a player behind. Already, though, Heretics are set up for the retake. That is their goal, to try and get back into the site later into the round. And they need a disruptor. Sociable is that disruptor. If he can catch someone, but I'm just looking at Boo waiting. Timing here is absolutely everything. And again, this guy has the perfect read.
He's too smart. Something needs to be done about this guy. BBL, they try to throw something else out there. It doesn't work.
They dodged him.
Sure, sidestepping, but look, it's a 5v3. Vac needs to make a big play. Boo is again watching for the player trying to sneak up on him. He's just ready for every play. Now they've got an angle to deny this spike. They've actually killed one. They don't know that that wasn't the diffuser. It's halved already. Yumpy alone knows there's a player by the door, catches his head, and now it's Benji Fishy against the rolling. Oh no, Yumpy! He gave it away! He thought there's no time for the Rolling Thunder, but there was no time for the run-up either. Oh, that's heartbreaking. He could have stepped to the side. He might have had an angle. Instead, he wants to run in.
It's just a split-second hesitation.
It's too far.
I think, yeah, Rolling Thunder would have denied, but yeah, again, in his head, he's like, he's already been on it.
1v1 as well.
So he goes for the peak, and at that point, it's already gone. He's literally a split-second behind.
Tragic.
Let's go! Let's go!
12 and 6. A heartbreaker, a backbreaker, even somewhat an economy breaker. They are coming in with mostly Guardians. A faster move attempted and a much better start. They've at least cleared one. There's nowhere for Benji to go. He still gets a kill.
Exactly where
This is one of the first times we've seen them with an advantage in one of these rounds.
Yeah, it's a first successful C take, I suppose.
Thunder.
Rolling Thunder for Bo's plant. Yeah, good job they saved that one over. 6 rounds in a row needed. It could be the first domino to fall. We don't expect to see Rolling Thunder used here. It should be safe. But a kill going the way of Heretics, and that plan goes out the window. BBL, oh, Yumpy. Well, that previous round lit a fire under him, evidently. Looking hot to the touch as 12-6 turns 12-7. Boo left to save this weapon. Heretics, well, they'll finally taste defeat in a round, but defeat in the map is a long way away. Would have to be overtime, and even getting there is going to be a challenge.
It seems like Boo's attempt here is to do as much damage as possible. They've got spare credits, so not really the end of the world for him losing that gun. They will be able to rebuy. What was a much faster paced hit. An impressive opener. I like the fact as well that they are very prepared for these off-angle positions, especially considering that, look at the previous ways Heretics have played. They haven't been in that corner. It hasn't been a spot, but I think they are starting to clock on the... Heretics are constantly attempting to make adaptations. One of those is now in. 4 ultimates, but more importantly, Miniboo with that operator. They haven't really put out deep pressure onto C, and he is going to immediately take that space. However, one thing they haven't been able to claim a lot in this map is A-side control. They already have it, but you don't want to face up against Rians and miss.
Yeah, you face that storm head on, and it'll take the wind out of your sails. For Heretics, 4 ultis, BBL, 2 high-impact ones, but when to use them is the real problem they have to solve. Miniboo on his way around. Rolling Thunder used on A. Okay, back? I mean, he's just used a cage, though. Miniboo knows that he's on the B site. He knows they might be coming back in this direction. He's sticking around, and that showstopper will be quick to be fired in, or at least if it is quickly fired in, they're in trouble. Here it is. Knowing that there's still players close by. One goes far, one goes close, nothing. Lands for damage. Nade is good. Levin pushed forward and it's into an op. He doesn't know what's just around that corner, but he won't walk into it. The lockdown instead, sending them in the other direction, buying space for Heretics as they now move to the site with a cosmic divide that has to be pushed through. This is an uphill battle indeed. Already halfway on that defuse. Someone needs to step in. They don't even make it past the cosmic divide. 13-7. Heretics, they make it look easy.
Yeah, once again, they are a match away from making it to an international event, and there is a reason that when people made their tier list, when people made their predictions, there was only one team that sat at the top. This is the squad to beat, even when they are pushed and pressured, and that's been the thing that's most impressed me so far. The first game they played, a big defeat, they respond. Second game they played, they're down, but they make a resurgence. The credit I'll give to the other side, though, is the fact that a resurgence needed to be made. A team still playing with a stand-in, still playing with a lot of rookies. They are impressing me, BBL. But to make it to the very top, maybe there's still a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, no doubt, but this is a squad that came in with low expectations and have delivered already far beyond what anybody, I'm sure even themselves, expected from Kickoff. Stage 1, perhaps they'll look even better. Lower bracket, perhaps they'll look even better. There's teams down there that will want revenge against them. But for us, the focus can shift away from Heretics. Taking the dub down on that stage, they've battled illness. And look, this squad never has a clean kickoff or a clean start to any stage. But they've still proceeded on in that upper bracket. I think, as most of us expect from a roster as star-studded as Heretics.
Yeah, they've still had the ability to make some changes here and there. I have to say on Lotus especially, I think that Boo just had an incredible read on the scenario. Having that double controller looked really nice. I enjoyed that map thoroughly from their perspective. So I think going forward, having that extra time, having that extra break is only going to give them more and more to really build into this tournament. And of course, as I said, they are now a match away from making it to the place where everybody expects them to be over in Masters. And also they've claimed themselves a first champion point, which for any other team might be exciting. For Heretics, if they're not a champions after last year, that would be a mass failure. So maybe the 1 point won't mean quite as much to them.
Well, for Heretics, you know, no stranger to second place, but in this series, it's first place all the way. Maybe this could be where those Kings finally get their trophy, finally get their crown. For now, we're going to toss it over to the stage where I believe Yinsu is standing by with not the big Boo, but the mini Boo.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. That's right, I'm now joined by Mini Boo. First of all, massive congratulations on that victory. We saw you win last week as well. I wanted to ask, is this like a new year, new Mini Boo? Because after, you know, the very first time, I know you guys weren't feeling well as well. The way that you came back, the way that you guys come back today, it's been flawless.
I mean, I think it's just all us Heretics, like nothing changed. No, the roster didn't change. We didn't change. The only thing changed that we are gonna win finals this time.
You heard it. You heard it. How much does that weigh on you guys? Because obviously I think a lot of people in the community even meme it a little bit now, like, oh, of course they're gonna come second. Does that play into the pressure or in the back of your head at all?
I think it's motivation for us, you know, like we just focus on ourselves and we know that inside the team we are capable of winning finals. It's just like some micro details that we need to change, you know, maybe like prepare better and play until the end, but no, like I think we don't care.
Speaking of preparation, your coach Neil Zenio told me last week that you didn't have a lot of time to prepare, especially on Abyss. He said it was the first time you even played Abyss. It was on stage. Why did you leave that open today? Have you just been spending this whole week grinding Abyss?
I mean, I don't know, like I'm just a Duelist player, you know, I just shoot heads, you know, like
you don't worry about
the
the map
strategical part is not on me, you know, like I don't know, like.
Would you have been happy to go to Abyss today?
Bro, I would be happy to play any map, you know. Like for me, just like Duelist, people flash, stun for me, I dash, I just kill, you know. I don't need to do anything.
Easy, easy. I'm glad you mentioned the duelist part, because I'm only gonna ask you questions about being a duelist now, so you can answer these.
Okay.
Where's the Neon?
Neon is 2024.
No Neon this year?
Maybe.
Oh, I mean, Click played Neon. We were kind of surprised that he did before you. So I think people are going to be a bit sad if you don't bring out the Neon.
I mean, it's just the beginning. It's just the first 2 matches. The season is really long, so I think we're going to see surprises during the year going by.
Okay, let's hope, let's hope. And also, Yoru is currently the second most picked duelist out of all of the duelist agents. And you don't normally play the Yoru, it feels like, unless it's unbind. Is that something that you would like to try, just because how strong Yoru is right now? Or, again, is it something that you guys don't have any plans for?
I mean, for me, I'm capable of playing any Duelist, in my opinion. I can play Reina, I can play, I don't know, Yoru, Neon, Jet, Raze. Like, I don't care as soon as, like, it suits our team, you know? Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I mean, I think in the past I was doing pretty good with Yoru if I played.
I remember. Breeze, Bind. Yeah, we remember. Very, very quick last question. I just saw you see some of the players walk on stage. Predictions. Give me a prediction. Who's winning?
Oh, Vitality or Footballist? I don't know, like, maybe
They're looking at you.
I don't know, maybe if Vitality shoot good today, maybe they can win, but football is just looking on fire. Kinda, and you know, like if they have good momentum, maybe they are capable of winning this. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting matchup, and I'm really excited to play against any of those teams.
All right. Thank you very much for joining me, Minibit. We'll see you next week. We don't have to wait too long to find out because after this break, Foot will be taking on Team Vitality. Don't go anywhere.
You know, I'm not gonna call you NPC this map because there's gonna be no NPC moment.
If you cannot go, can you just throw one molly?
If I have mollies, yeah, if I can.
Molly. Molly.
One man, one desire.
Red Bull gives you wings.